Alright, we're back on gaming, and I want to say this now before, I get started on everything. For those who didn't see the sports video or the stream last week, today will be the last day of videos until the end of the month. Alright? Now, I say this due to the fact that I got a number of things I have to do in real life and prepare for in real life before, I can start doing videos again. Alright? So, you probably won't get any videos until beginning of October. I say this due to the fact that next week, I have jury duty. That's right, and y'all know how this goes, because I put it like this: if I get picked for a case, God knows how long that's going to go on for, and, it takes hours and hours of time. Anybody who's ever been to jury duty knows what I'm talking about, so, yeah, there's that. Also, next week, I have my last, boxing tournament for the year in the finals, so I want to make sure that I'm sharp for that. Like I said, I explained all these things in the sports video. I won't go into too much detail about it, because you can just watch the sports video and see the detail. Also, near the end of September, I have a 10-mile charity run, so I have to prepare myself for that as well, okay? So, like I said, I need time in real life to do some things before I can get a chance to do these videos. However, I will say that I will still have time to do the streams, okay, for charity. That still will happen with no problems, okay? And also, I know some people want to do some podcasts and things of that nature, so I will be available for that as well, okay? So, let's get started on this news, alright? This gaming news. I wasn't going to talk about SJWs this week. I really wasn't. I thought last week was bad enough. It was enough. And then this morning on Twitter, shit hits the fan. Now, you've got to be kidding me that this is still something. And we're going to start with Banna Woo. Now, I'll put it like this. When it comes to Banna Woo, today I will be, identifying Banna Woo as Scumbag Steve. Because no matter how I identify Banna Woo, somebody's not fucking happy. So I'm going to do me, as usual. So, I'll put it like this. Scumbag Steve is mad because, for those who have not seen, we know what happened when Scumbag Steve had said something about Samus being transgendered and was proven wrong, right? Okay, well, now gamers have taken it upon themselves to talk about Scumbag Steve's own character from Rev 60 and claiming that it's transgender. Now you're saying that people are attacking you? You're trying to play the victim again? Oh, no, we're not having this. Let's get something straight. You go and change Samus in Wikipedia and sourced yourself, alright, someone else's creation, and claimed that Samus was transgender. Now that gamers have proclaimed that Holiday from Rev 60 is transgendered, you're upset, Scumbag Steve? You're going to sit here and say that people are attacking you? How does it feel? How does it feel to have your creation change and someone else who didn't make it and proclaim that it's something else? How does it feel? I advise you take a long look in the mirror and sit to yourself and say, you know what? I'm a fucking joke. That's what you need to do. You need to really look at yourself. But let's move on. I want to talk about another piece of shit. That's right. Ernest Adams, for those who don't know, the founder of the IGDA, he just talks so much dumb bullshit. You know what? Let's get this right now. He goes on to say that, women are being objectified and women are fighting for these rights, and it doesn't matter about the viewers because then he compares it to black people back in the day. That's right. He says that black people back in the day didn't, take kindly to being mocked, or, when you see those people shucking and jiving and yes massa and all that. And he goes on to say that black people fought, doesn't matter the viewers, doesn't matter the audience, they fought to have that abolished because it doesn't exist today. Number one, you're fucking wrong. You're fucking wrong. You're going to sit here and tell me it doesn't exist today? First off, I advise you go talk to a black actor, alright? And he'll tell you or she'll tell you how hard it is to make it in Hollywood, alright? Because it's, because stereotypes, we all know this, alright? Matter of fact, you can go talk to a black director and you'll hear the same thing. That's number two. Number three, you want to sit here and say that black people don't shuck and jive anymore? I dare you to watch Tyler Perry's, any of his Medea movies, and tell me that's shucking and jive. You know what? No, I'll go even further on that. How about this? Instead of watching the movies, you want to see mass ignorance? Watch the Medea stage plays, then come back to me and tell me that black people still ain't shucking and jiving. Get the fuck out of my face, this old bullshit. But you know what? No. It gets worse. This is what he says afterwards. Wow, did you really just go there? Did you really make yourself look like a fucking shitlord? Or I should say at this point, because you're not white knighting, actually you're being misogynist, and I'm going to explain this really quickly. For you to say you're going to scream until every big-breasted bimbo is out of gaming. First off, big-breasted bimbo, that's a stereotype, alright? Because I'm sure there are many women who have big breasts who are smart. Okay, that's number one. So you're stereotyping. Number two, you want to sit here and say that you're going to do, you're going to do this for women. All right, you do realize that I thought that this was about equality. This was supposed to be about everybody being, as we should know, being represented. Which means there are women in real life who have big breasts. So if they're in the game, that shouldn't be a problem, right? Because the last I checked, when you see these women with big breasts, because remember, Lara Croft, who's supposed to be a genius and tough as nails, if anyone's ever played Tomb Raider, all right, she has big breasts, right? Even though they've reduced them as of late, but she has big breasts. That was the big complaint, right? But I never heard Lara Croft of being a big-breasted bimbo like an airhead. Never heard that. No. It almost sounds to me like you're fucking outdated, old man. And I say this because you haven't kept up with what's going on. For you to come out and say something like this, and this is the hypocrisy, this is the founder of the IGDA saying this, all right? And since then, all right, since he said that, there are a number of women on Twitter who are just chomping at the bit to play you in games, to make you look like a fucking idiot. Because like I've said before, if you're going to sit here and act like this, you better put up or shut the fuck up. And that's what it comes down to. So you just disrespected pretty much all women because of the human anatomy. You know how many big-breasted women live out in the real world? But they're just bimbos, right? You just shot down your own cause, bro. You realize that, right? You know what? I want to move on due to the fact that while he's sitting here bitching and moaning, because that's what it sounds like to me, bitching and moaning about that issue of large breasts because that's what triggers people, you'd think that the IGDA would do something more important, like issues that are making gaming in our community in general look bad. The thing that you're supposed to be about and represent. Yeah, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, this fucking loser, convicted murderer, says that video games made his killings easier. That's right, let's get into this, okay? I want to talk about this because I want to read this, all right? As part of a plea agreement, Deez, that's the guy's name, Deez, I'm just going to call him fucking loser because he's a fucking loser, all right, was required to provide more details. I don't know why you should be required, first off, a plea deal to give out information when you're caught. That boggles the mind. Anyways, it says, to provide more details to investigators about the March murders of an 80-year-old, all right, Ted Welp, a 77-year-old Elaine Welp, and their son who was 52 years old, Thomas Welp. So let me get something straight. You went and killed the elderly. That's what you did. You're a real big man there. You went and killed the elderly. But let's keep it going, okay? It says, there were no mention of the specific games that Deez reported was addicted to, okay? No report, all right? It says, he also told detectives that he was depressed and suicidal when he carried out the murders. So, obviously, this doesn't have anything to do with fucking video games. It doesn't, all right? Mental sickness, all right? And you're a fucking coward because why didn't you go take on someone who's bigger than you, stronger than you, just about the same age as you, or possibly younger than you? No, you went and killed the fucking elderly. People who probably couldn't, who couldn't defend themselves. 80 years old and 77 years old, you're a real big man, aren't you? But let's keep going, okay? It says, he robbed and murdered the Welp family after finding their high-end home on Google Maps. Let's keep it going, all right? It says, according to the KTVB, all three victims were found badly beaten and shot in the head. So you beat these people first, okay? Because you physically you were stronger than them, they couldn't help themselves, and then you shot them. All right, now I'll put it like this. All right, first off, you're a pussy for killing somebody like that anyway, all right? You are. And I know a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't be killing people anyway. That's a different story for a different time. This is why I didn't really, say it earlier, okay? But you have to understand, you're a pussy for beating up on the elderly, number one. Number two, you couldn't even finish the job physically, could you? You had to fucking shoot him. What kind of fucking coward? You know what? Let's keep going. Deez is taking medication for bipolar disorder. So he's depressed, he's suicidal, and he's bipolar. I don't want to hear that video games made it easier, all right? This guy clearly has problems, all right? But video games are the devil, right? So let's keep it going. It says, also quotes, the counselor at Riverside Behavioral Health, Jamie McManus, is saying that people with existing mental illness conditions may more than likely be affected by entertainment, such as video games, okay? So meaning, if you don't have any problems and you're playing video games, you're fine. You're fine. But because this guy has a history of mental illness, he was fucked up in the head. So it doesn't matter if he played video games. It doesn't matter if he was watching movies. And we've seen that in the past, right? They were blamed. It doesn't matter if he was listening to music, because we've seen that blamed in the past. Any type of entertainment could have set this dude or motivated him to do something, okay? Now, it says, and this is what the counselor says, if you are a relatively healthy and socially stable child, you may do just fine being exposed to video games. Meaning, if you play Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty, because, those are the ones they like to single out, and we'll talk about that in a minute, all right? It says, you'll be fine. It says, if you are already having some difficulties, emotionally or social, you may need some limits. Meaning, everything in moderation. That's what it means. It means don't sit around for 12 or 16 hours a day playing these games feeling as though you're an efficient killer, then you go outside and fucking do it, you dumbass. People have been killed for fucking less, let alone you coming around saying, I found a home on Google Maps. Let's go beat up this elderly couple. Oh, wait, I can't finish the job on my own. Let me go get a fucking gun. You fucking loser. I hope they don't put you in jail. I hope they put you under the fucking jail. All right? It says, these will soon be moved to the Idaho Department of Corrections, where he will serve 3 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. That's not enough for me as far as I'm concerned. It just isn't. I hope, and I put it like this, because as far as I'm concerned, like I said, put him under jail, 3 life sentences without parole, that's fine. I want to see what happens when he gets into Gen Pop. And don't give me that bullshit that you're going to put him in solitary confinement. No, put him in Gen Pop where people can whoop his ass. That's what I want to see. Matter of fact, I'll pay to see that shit. Put the cameras on, stream it, and I'll watch it. And I'll pay for it gladly to see him get his ass whipped. Anyways, let's move on to the next thing. Walsall child in care over neglectful parents playing games. That's right. Let's get into this right now. And this is what really bothers me. Because clearly, parents were playing too many games and they neglected their child. Child services came, took the child from the parents because they have an addiction. Okay? Link will be in the info bar. But here's what I was talking about earlier. Okay? So it says, details have revealed under the Freedom of Information Act request into children being taken into care across the country and also cities, an example of bad teeth in the borough. Okay? It says an estimated 30,000 young people are taken into care each year, and other reasons highlighted in other parts of the UK are parents smoking. So it goes to show you this is not just about video games. All right, bad teeth, smoking, anything that's harmful to a child, they're going to take. Okay, now I put it like this. It says around 20 million Brits are regular gamers, spending an average of 9 hours each week playing popular titles such as. Anybody want to guess? We just talked about it. Such as Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty. Man, they really like to put those out there, don't they? They just, look, it's ridiculous, all right? They go on talking about the FIO response and things of that nature on how parents should be more, mindful of their child. And things that are common sense. If you have a child, do not spend all day playing fucking video games. You don't have the time because you have responsibilities. That's what it comes down to. Now, I understand that everybody needs a break from reality from time to time. You know what I mean? So you do want to play video games. But you cannot tell me when you have a family to support that you're going to sit here and say, fuck them, I'm going to go play video games. And we've seen it. We've heard it on stream. We've heard it on things. When people are playing fighting games, you can hear the baby crying in the background, screaming its head off. Dude's just like, I don't even give a fuck. Still playing. Doesn't care. Obviously, you should know, anyone who has a child and things of this nature, you should know the big 3 signs when a child is crying, okay? Child is hungry, all right? Child needs to be changed. Anybody know the third one? Anybody? I'm just wondering, all right? No? Anyone? Okay, I understand I'm talking to the camera, so I was just giving you time, all right? The third one usually is if there's some type of complication. You have to understand that a child needs those type of things. Hungry, being changed, and like I said, you shouldn't wait till a child starts screaming. You should read the signs when a child starts putting their hand in their mouth and things of that nature. That's a warning sign that they're getting hungry. You know what I mean? But the third one is if it has some type of complication or things of that nature, too much gas, too much, spit up, things of that nature. So you have to make sure that the child sits up straight, or you have to burp them. Even though you probably already burped them after feeding them, you have to burp them still. And it's a lengthy task. Okay? So you have to understand that there are signs that you can deal with these type of things. But if you're sitting at home playing fucking video games and your child is screaming its fucking head off and you don't care, you're a horrible fucking parent. That is still a person. But whatever. Let's just keep going. I want to move. Let's talk about games. And you know what? After the whole SJW thing, I really should have walked in with the Mika stuff. But it's cool. It's fine. We'll still talk about this. Dead or Alive. We're going to open up with this too, right? Big boo bimbos, right? Dead or Alive Extreme 3 Midway character election results have been announced. So for anyone who's interested in Dead or Alive Extreme 3, whatever, the results have been announced. Link will be in the info bar. Also, Fighting Climax, that's right, Dengeki Bunko, makes the Irregular at Magic High School's, Tatuya, playable. Yeah, I got a problem with this. Because if anyone who's seen even bits of the anime know this guy is God tier, alright? And I will put it like this. If they put him in the game, and he is he's S rank or A rank, he's a S rank, A rank character, you're going to see gamers get so mad and want nerfs. And if you do that, then actually it disrespects the character, because let's be honest, that character is a badass, alright? But also, understand, if they don't nerf it, you're going to see gamers at tournaments saying, this person needs to be banned. You know what I mean? It won't be just, how do we get around it? And we've seen this a lot, especially in Under Night and Birth. Gordo needed to be nerfed. He needed to be nerfed. He just did. Alright? And then he nerfed him and it still didn't matter. Because the way Gordo is set up. So, whatever. Anyways, like I said, if they nerf him, Tatuya is going to, I'll put it like this. Tatuya is going to be a handful. He is. Especially, it depends on this. Listen, we don't really know much about it, but I'm saying, given what they've done with the anime, and how big the character is, and how damn near godlike the character is, I wouldn't expect anything less. I just wouldn't. You know what I mean? If he's a D tier character, people are going to be pissed. They are. So, Sega, I understand you got your developers and all that, I understand you're publishing the game, but you got to make sure it's right. Have to. Anyways, let's move on to more fighting games. Like I said, Mika. Need to talk about this. Mika. That's right. For those who don't know, Mika in Street Fighter V, for those who haven't seen the video yet, has a devastating 2-hit KO move. That's right. So let's see what happens here.
Hey! First thing you do is hit the cardio. Next thing, go for full-on strength training. Don't do any less than 3 sets a day. You should change the routine daily. You'll be all muscle. I guarantee it.
Now, as you can see, she needs to be buffed. It almost reminds me of Beowulf in Skullgirls, where he constantly taunts and he buffs up as he plays. It seems as though Mika, she gets mic work, mic promo, and that's how she gets her buffs to do this. Now, I will say this. If you're an idiot and let Mika sit around and buff all day doing that, then there's something wrong with you. There's really something wrong with you. Like, you should not be letting her just sit around talk on the mic. No, kick her in the face, punch her in the face, something. But of course, you're going to see guys who do a small buff, then start fighting, and then when they get the distance, do another buff, and we're going to see this time and time again. So you have to be very careful with Mika. I personally think it's hilarious due to the fact that she actually gets on the microphone and talks. It's like I said, it's almost taking a cue from Beowulf from Skullgirls. It's really funny to see. So, yeah, I can't wait to see how this is going to end up. I really, see, I'm sure since Rainbow Mika's back, we're going to see a number of players come back and rejoice of her. So, but this is really interesting to see what happens. Let's move on. Last week I talked about Mortal Kombat X and that there was a possibility that DLC will be on the way. Well, it has been confirmed. MKX DLC will be adding new characters in 2016. The silhouettes are already there. More than likely they're going to be characters that you've already seen that's in the game story mode. Clearly the guy on the left is Baraka. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that, okay? Also, in Soul Calibur news, PS3 Soul Calibur Lost Swords is shutting down this year. That's right, the free-to-play game Lost Swords will be shutting down. So PS3 fans, if you want a free game and you want to get some type of entertainment out of it before it shuts down, I would advise doing that, okay? Now, also, I want to move on, as we're done with the fighting games. I need to talk about Capcom. All right, Capcom, I'm not going to yell at you this week. Capcom is extremely happy with Resident Evil HD and is pleased with the performances of their remasters that they have made as of late. Okay, Capcom. So we know what this means. Knowing that they're pleased, that means they're going to keep it going. Okay, we know that. Now, Capcom, I have to say, what did you learn from this? That's what I want to know. Because gamers have been telling you this for years. Okay? They've been telling you this for years. And you didn't listen. So now the light bulb finally pops up. You know, that, we can do this. And now you're pleased with the results. Like, almost like you're surprised that gamers wouldn't buy this stuff. That's what it feels like. Capcom, you're doing a good thing by doing it, but you are years late to the game. You're just years late. I don't understand what's wrong with you at this point. Like I said, I'm not going to yell at you. I understand you're happy about it, but you know what you should be doing? Taking the money from that, all right? From that Resident Evil, those remakes. You don't always have to make more remakes, because you're going to do it anyway. Take the profit from that and put it into something else. That's right. You could be making a new game. Or possibly, like I said, you already got the funding for new remakes. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a remake of Onimusha. We should get one, as far as I'm concerned. But, like I said, take that money and then start making new IPs. When you're saying you're pleased with these profits, then that tells me that you're stable, you're happy with that specific genre. That means either you put it into new IPs, you'll probably put it into another Resident Evil, because that's what you're going to justify. See? They want Resident Evil, let's give them Resident Evil 8. Like, because we know 7's on the way. You just got to calm down. Don't get too happy just yet. Don't. Because, like I said, we've seen the complaints about these HD remakes and how modders have had to clean up your mistakes in the HD remakes. So, don't be too happy just yet, okay? You still got work to do. Now, let's move on. I want to talk about EA. And, and their bullshit. Yeah. Gotta talk about this, alright? EA's executive talks about diversity in gaming. Diversity in gaming, right? And says, it can't all be white males. Really? Are we really going to go here? I mean, if we're going to be honest here, EA, your biggest selling title every year, which is Madden, isn't all white males. Just saying, a lot of black athletes, alright? All your sports titles, which carry your flagship of your company, are very diverse, okay? But for you to sit here and say, they can't all be white males, and then, of course, in the article, you're showing Mirror's Edge and all this, am I supposed to forget, because I showed it not too long ago, that the bad guy in the new Mirror's Edge game is your boss? Are you fucking serious? White male, but are you serious? Look, no one has ever said this is all just about white males. We've had a problem at one point where it was white males with shaven head everyone was trying to be military. We'll say that. But it was never about, oh, this is just white male. It's bullshit that you would say something like this. But practice what you preach, EA. That means we should see a number of minority leads at this point. We should. So, if that's what you want to say, and when I mean minority, yes, we can start with black males, Latino males, Asian males, because we don't see many of those. But when you're saying this, you really mean female. That's what you mean. Let's be honest here, because of what's going on as of late. For those who know what I'm talking about, women managing most of EA's most powerful franchises today. That's an article. Now, here's the thing. This is where it's condescending. Because, as all gamers, well, I should say all gamers, but majority of us gamers, we don't give a shit who is in charge. Alright? Male, female, black, white, Indian, Asian, Latino, it doesn't fucking matter. Make the game quality. That's all we care about. That's all we care. But yet, we need to highlight women being in charge of these things. You do realize that putting them out there on a pedestal like that, actually it's condescending. Because if you're looking for equality, you would treat them the same way and say it's not that big of a deal due to the fact, okay, well, it's a woman making it. Who cares? It's a woman making it. Who cares? We're still going to buy the game anyway, right? It's nothing special. But then since it's a woman making it, now we have to highlight that it's a woman making it. You guys just dig your own fucking graves, don't you? And I'm not just saying EA, because that's EA. That's not, EA didn't put it out and say, yeah, we have women. No, that's the media. You're digging your own fucking graves doing that. Let's move on. Seriously. Talk about ESPN. For those who don't know, anyone interested, okay? ESPN is looking for an esports editor. That's right. So, big-time esports editors or any, people who focus on esports that much. I'm sure there's a lot of YouTube channels or sites that do it. They are looking for editors. You can get put on by this. So, I would say, check it out. Send in your resume. Get put on. Go get your money. Anyways, and yeah, I say that due to the fact that it's still media. Because if esports, if they're going to make this as big as it is, what ESPN seems to be doing, why wouldn't you jump on that? Just saying. Go get your money. Anyways, let's move on. Bandai Namco. That's right. Granzella. Let's talk about this for a minute because there's a little trick to this, alright? Their new game, Granzella, is possibly a new disaster report game in disguise. Now, for those who don't know, they teased that it was going to be a fantasy RPG on their site, right? And they were showing all this RPG work, whatever. And then in the update, they took away the fantasy RPG and start seeing all this chaos in modern cities and things of that nature. So now everyone's like, so it's a new disaster report. Is that what we're getting here? So we're not sure just yet what's going on, but I do love the swerve of it. I really appreciate that. Also, speaking of appreciation, an indie studio, Indie studio has just released a new NES game. That's right, a new NES game. You know what, matter of fact, let's take a look at what that looks like real quick.
Strength. Speed. Endurance. The long-awaited sequel to the Atari 2600 game Quest Forge has arrived. Use strength, speed, and endurance to defeat your foes. Explore vast worlds. Find love. Quest Forge by Order of Kings is available this summer, only for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
It's so retro that I love it. I love it. I'll put it like this, all right? When you see all these people who are so worried about next gen and you see something like that, it makes me happy inside to see that people are still, they can still make old games and have such comedy to them, and there's such feel-good games, you know what I mean? You don't have to worry about being so serious all the time. But with next gen, you know, everything has to be that way for some odd reason. I don't know. But you know what? Speaking of next gen, we need to talk about it right now, all right? And some of this may make some people upset. Maybe some of you won't care, okay? But talk about the Xbox. That's right. Xbox Rewards changes requirement. That's right. They changed their requirements, and people are very upset. So I'll explain their reward requirements. The 1 star, the old was $150, right? Now it's $300, okay? 2nd star was $400. Now it's $600, all right? The 3rd star was $650. The new one is $900. Okay. The 4 star is $900. The new one is $1,200. And the 5 star old was $1,200, and the new one is $1,800. Now we're seeing a lot of fans who are very upset about this. And like I said, there are some who are also saying I don't care as long as still get money. But many are upset that Xbox decided to change these things because you're pretty much upping everything. So, like I said, it is up to you on if you're upset about it or not. I feel it's a little unfair to gamers, especially you were just out of nowhere. It wasn't even a warning. It was just like, look, this is what we're doing. You know what I mean? No warning whatsoever. So, and I think it's another problem with companies when they don't, get in communication with their fan bases. Sometimes you have to ease fans into stuff like that. You have to let them know. I don't care if you had to do it 6 months ahead of time. Let them, look, there's going to be, we're going to make some changes. Sit tight. This is what's going to happen. And then, you build up to all that time. The time is here. This is what we're going to do. But instead, you were just like, nope, we're just going to change it, and that's going to be it. And now fans are mad. So, let's move on. More Xbox news, all right? Next-gen consoles will probably not have physical media, says XMS executive. You're already talking next-gen. The PS4 and the Xbox One are here, and you're already talking next-gen. Oh, my God. Give it a rest. Seriously, I understand you have to look forward to the future, but you've got to be kidding me that in this time, and we know that the Xbox One and the PS4 are still having problems with getting out games, and when I mean games, I mean original IPs, not this remastered bullshit to make your collection look bigger. But you have to understand, you're already talking about next-gen. Stop. And I put it like this. If you decide to go all digital, then guess what? You're going to get screwed. You're going to get screwed. And I'm not saying that to the gamers. I'm saying that to the companies because, as you know, studies have already said for the previous month or so that gamers still, a large amount of gamers, majority, an overwhelming amount of gamers still want physical copy. Because as we know, when you put that digital in, we know that you have control of everything. And gamers don't want that. For some reason, you just want to push this on us. And I can understand, like I said, you buy digital games because they're cheap or whatever, that's fine. You know what I mean? That's fine. It's a sale or something, that's fine. But when you're sitting here doing this, and we've seen all the DRM and things of that nature, and we've seen in the past where people would buy their game, but because of EA, remember Dragon Age Origins? Remember when the guy got banned for that? Remember all those Call of Duty people that got banned? All those Battlefield people, Call of Duty people got banned for showing all those problems, those bugs and glitches? Remember that? Yeah. And that was just showing problems of their games. Yeah, never mind. Let's just move on. I want to talk about other games that have problems, and Destiny 2. That's right. For those who don't know, as we know, Destiny's had a number of problems as of late, and we also saw, the big backlash not too long ago of, the recent stuff. However, Destiny 2 was originally planned to release this month. That's right. So for them to say that this was a 10-year plan, now, of course, before everyone freaks out, understand they had to make changes to the story and things of that nature, and as you know, timetables change. But you have to understand that for what they're saying, this is Destiny 1, 2, 3, they said they're going to do this for what, a number of years, for 10 years? They're going to keep feeding you this shit pretty much annually. It seemed like that's what they were going to do. But, things changed. So, we will see what happens in the future with Destiny. I'm shocked that so many people, because we've seen so many complaints from fans when it comes to Destiny, I'm shocked that it still holds as many fans as it does. I guess people feel as though they bought the game and, they want to get as much out of it as they can. Because you can't trade into GameStop because, they'll screw you in price and things of that nature. So, I don't know. Also, in more news, let's talk about Kojima. I want to talk about him real quick. Kojima had a very emotional farewell to Metal Gear fans. And for those who did not see the video, I'll put the link in the info bar. This really drove Kojima. It's very emotional and hugging fans. And it goes to show you that when you make something, unlike others who try to change the shit after you made it, you know what I mean? We're just going to deem it something. No. With Metal Gear, with Kojima, no matter what happened, because people knew Kojima didn't want to do Metal Gear for a number of years, but he was still only doing it because of the fans. And the fact that the fans drove him to do this, and to see how appreciative he was, because we don't see this from developers, because you gotta think, every time we see developers, it's always what? Attitude. Fuck you, this, I'm going to do it my way, I don't care what you gotta say, you're all just ignorant, blah, 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 blah. That's what we hear from the majority of developers, do we not? But Kojima was actually very humble. Like I said, hugging gamers and wanting to thank them for supporting him for all throughout the entire, all these years. And, it's always the I won't say godfathers, but the granddaddies of all this stuff. You know what I mean? From the old eras, who were very appreciative of the community. This is none of these new hotshots, really. You know what I mean? Cliffy B didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? He left because there was too much politics. You don't see, Tamim and all these, you talk to these guys, and they're full of shit. They're full of immaturity and shit. You know what I mean? But people like Kojima, Miyamoto, you know what I mean? You look at these people and you say, hey, they're very appreciative for, having that fan base throughout over the years. Because they realize their lives could be a lot worse. They could be doing something else. But the fact that their creations took off and it molded their life, something they love to do, and they made a career out of it, they're very appreciative to the fans. And that is how you connect with a community. Not this other bullshit, we're just going to change this anytime we want to. Nope. But speaking of more Metal Gear, Konami, gotta talk about this because of all the happy times that people have with Kojima, and as you know, fans have sent Kojima a lot of fan art. After he said thank you, they were sending him fan art on Twitter and things of this nature. Konami pulls the biggest dick move I've ever. Konami, seriously, the more and more you do shit, the more it makes me not like you at all. And the thing is, I've grown up with a lot of your titles, you know what I mean, that I like. But Konami, you cannot tell me, and for those who don't know, Konami removes Metal Gear Solid 5 fan art on Twitter by copyright. That's right. So fans who sent Kojima, fan art, and Kojima was retweeting it, Konami didn't like that, no. And DMCA'd fan art on Twitter. How fucking petty can you be? Seriously, Konami, I'm telling you, it's almost like these companies, they look at EA and it's like, wow, they got the worst company, in America or whatever, or in the world, or in gaming. I wonder if we can top that. That's what it feels like. Stop being assholes. Seriously, it's fan art. And you're going to DMCA that? Okay, alright. What you should be worried about, though, Konami, is fixing your fucking game. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Konami Europe put out this tweet to gamers after they bought Metal Gear Solid 5. Hey, thanks, Konami. I really appreciate that. Because remember, you made your developers, they didn't go on vacation because you wanted to rush out the game, on PC. And then we found out it was only a Steam installer on the disc. Now you're telling me that you brushed the game and there's a problem with the game, and now you have to wait for a patch. Doesn't that sound familiar to A lot of these games that we've seen as of late, day one patches and things of that nature, so people can't use quiet on certain missions or it will corrupt your save data. You're fucking kidding me. Unreal. Just, seriously, Konami, just fix the game. Fix the game. Apologize to the gamers. Fix the game. You know what? Speaking of apologizing to gamers, for the previous 2 weeks, we talked about what? Slave trade, right? Negro Tetris, right? Well, apparently, the social media backlash has been so hard from this that slave trade, slave Tetris, that's what they're calling it because they don't want to call it Negro Tetris. Let's be honest, that's what the fuck it is. But slave Tetris minigame that's in the game has now been removed after the backlash. That's right. Now, the reason they're saying they just really wanted to educate people, no, you didn't. You didn't want to educate anybody because, as we know, you got a Bangladesh sweatshop game. That's not educating anybody. You can read an article and find that shit out, but no, you want to make this game and you want to be so over the top and ham-fisted, and like other people said, it looks like the Veggie Tales of slave games. That's what it looks like. It's almost a mockery. Like I said, I'm not offended. Once again, I'll say on the record, I'm not offended. It's just in bad taste. That's what I said. But it goes to show you that there was enough people who were offended that they took that part out. I'm shocked that they didn't, demand the entire game to be removed, but they took that part out. And of course, like I said, the CEO, who runs the company in the game, he's, friends with other racists, so you really can't take, his word for anything either. But he wants to educate people. Get the fuck out of my face. Anyways, speaking of problems still with games, all right, Batman Arkham Knight. It's been a while since we talked about it, right? Well, as you know, a patch has come out. That's right, a patch has come out that supposedly fixes everything. And apparently, gamers say differently. They're actually saying that this patch is worse. That this patch actually kills the game and it does nothing to help anybody. At this point, I think it's time that refunds are given out. Because that's just absolutely ridiculous. And also, in other news, that slave trade game, the people who made it did say that you can get your money back if you're offended by the game. You can get your money back, especially since they're removing certain parts. You can get your money back, okay? Now, also, let's talk about more companies. Ubisoft, that's right. Ubisoft is developing a theme park with Assassin's Creed and Raven Rabbids attractions. Ubisoft, you couldn't even fix fucking Tetris. Alright? You messed it up, and now you want to do a theme park? A theme park with Assassin's Creed. Alright, and I believe this is supposed to be in what, Malaysia? Ubisoft, I guess, no. Like I said, you can't even get your games fixed. We saw what happened to Assassin's Creed last time. You had no damn faces. Everyone looked like Sackboy with all the string and everything, with just the eyes bugging out. Come on, stop. Look, something from Pan's Labyrinth. Stop. All right, and you want to have a theme park. Oh, man, just, no. You know what? Capcom did the testing awards when it came to theme parks and rides, and they did that Monster Hunter thing, and that went well. Now, Ubisoft wants to jump on the train. Anyways, let's move on. I'll play this in some good news when it comes to development. Some good news. Last bit of news, actually. Pikmin 4, that's right, is in development and is very close to completion. So Pikmin fans, you can rejoice. It's almost here, and I'm sure you'll have fun with that game as well. Like I said, that's all the news I have for today, for the week, for the upcoming, until I do another gaming video. Like I said, I will be still doing streaming, so that will be fun. We'll be doing Daily Premonition this week. Should be hilarious. Choose your own adventure. You'll tell me where to go. But my final thoughts on this, just this week, it's just disgusting. Like I said, once again, every week we see these people just be so negative, be so contradictory, be so hypocritical, and when you call them on it, that's what they do. Like, it's ridiculous. Seriously. And now you got women pissed off on Twitter over that. They're ready to take your head off. You know what I mean? Ernest Adams, they're ready to take your fucking head off. But it just goes to show you, and EA, same thing. It just goes to show you that this is something that if you want to make a woman protagonist, go ahead. No one's going to give a shit. No one. Like I said, if the game is quality, people will overlook that. Like I said, as gamers, we have played as everything. Man, woman, alien, create a race, whatever. Create a character, whatever. It doesn't matter. But you keep thinking that it does for some reason. That's because you're listening to a bunch of crazy people who don't even play fucking games. That's what it is. But yet, That's a whole different story. It's amazing how, for all the reports that we've seen, women, these same women, they hate these games, yet then they say they can't play these games. So is it that you're salty that you can't play the game, that's why you hate it? Don't tell me that the image of a person is what's going to offend you. Because if that's the case, we can go back and look at a lot of games when it comes to black stereotypes and be like, oh my God, that's horrible. Hello, Barrett. Hello, Big Bo. There's a lot of them. But you don't see me getting upset to the point, it's so racist, it needs to be changed, it needs to be abolished. You don't see that, do you? No. I'll laugh at that shit and be like, it is so bad that it's laughable. That's why. Is it racist? Can I say, yeah, it's racist. Racist is shit. But you don't see me getting upset or offended by it. If anything, I just make fucking jokes about it. If you don't believe me, you can go back and watch the binary domain streams. All I do is make fun of the shit. You know what I mean? Is it right? No. But you also don't take it to heart because it's a fucking video game. Like I said before, I said about Resident Evil as well. Oh, the garb on the Africans, it's racist. And what did I say? I am not worried about their fucking garb. There's a son of a bitch with a big-ass axe chasing me. You think I'm worried about what he's wearing? No, I'm trying to shoot him down so he doesn't kill me. You tend to forget these things. And when you think too much about those type of things, actually, it's not the game that's the problem. You're the problem. Like I said, unless it hits you over the head like this slave trade game, which I can understand why people are offended. I'm not, but I can see why people are offended. When you have a game that hits you over the head with it, then you can say something like that. But games like Resident Evil 5, not racist. I'll say that every time. Not racist. You know what I mean? Because they got the wrong guard. Binary Domain had its racism in. They even say it at the end of the game. We don't want to cause any more racism, more racism in the game. You know what I mean? Like they talk about it in the dialogue. They knew. But I still can laugh at it. And what did I say afterwards? I want a part 2. Because it's going to be that hilarious. Because God knows what else they're going to do in the fucking game. You know what I mean? Instead of looking at something like a Lara Croft or our Mika and saying, oh my God, I'm upset because of her proportions. But if they made her look like a fucking stick, you'd say, oh my God, I'm upset because she looks like Barbie in her proportions. You can't win. That's simple. I don't get it. It's just ridiculous. Like I said, stop listening to these fucking idiots who get so sensitive when it comes. Like I said, if something seriously sexist happens, then you call it on it. If something serious racist happens, then you fucking call it on it. Like I said, but when you have people every day who scream this shit, and then when real things happen, people ignore it because they think it's just more whining and crying. That's what they think. It's that simple. Just like when people don't take the time out, and they make accusations about another group or something. You start looking at that stuff, it's crazy. It is. But that's not what our community was built off of. But now everyone's got to be more mindful of each other. You didn't give a shit then. You didn't. And the only time you do that, we're going to try and reach out, and make more a diverse group. That really just means that you're trying to reach a different demographic to buy your fucking game. That's all it means. Let's be honest. You don't give a shit about diversity, because if you gave a shit about diversity, EA's been in business for how long? All of a sudden you care. Get the fuck out of here, man. I ain't trying to hear this shit. Anyways, I'm done. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Seriously, be safe. There's some fucking crazies out there. Yeah, we're going to start killing elderly, over some fucking video games. Not just the mental sickness. Just fuck the mental sickness part. But it's video games. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.